Hey folks, this is Shane. Thanks for taking time to watch this video. Year and a half ago, I broke one of my PackTenna EFHW link dipoles. I horsed around a little bit too much and I snapped the wire off right at the base. And recently I finally rebuilt the antenna and I kind of did the K8MRD mod with a little different twist to it. So check this out. So if you watch my channel for any period of time, you know that I'm a big fan of the PackTenna EFHW. These antennas have been a workhorse for me for many years. And then a few years ago, they came out with the linked EFHW with the length of wire for 40 meters connected to the 20 meter leg. And now you got 40, 15, 20, and 10. And that was a game changer for me. It really introduced me to 15 meters, which is a band I never had an antenna for, so I never experimented with, and it turns out I really like it. And that's about the time when I saw Mike K8MRD make his video where he modded out one of his PackTennas, and I thought, I gotta do that. Well, I finally did, and I did things a little different. So let's go over that. So one thing you can obviously see that's the same is I used that high-vis yellow wire from Soda Beams. I bought that for a different project years ago. It's easy to work with and a good choice for parks on the air, summits on the air activators that are out in public. You get this high visible line. Now the wire that comes with the PackTenna is phenomenal. I love that stuff, but it is a lot easier to break than this wire. I've done that several times now. The pros of everything is also its cons, right? That PackTenna wire is so silky smooth, it's so thin, it disappears. It packs down much better than the Soda Beams wire, but yet it's a little bit on the fragile side. Again, if you take your time and use it right, it'll last you forever, but if you're impatient like me and a little rammy, you tend to break it, so your mileage will vary. But now let's talk about the things I did that's a little bit different than Mike's. You may notice that mine looks like it might have a few more banana plugs on it, so let's get into that. I really enjoy 15 meters, and sometimes I don't want to bring out the whole 40 meter wire to get 15 meters. Why, you say? Well, there's all this, there's what, 35, 33 feet more of wire that I have to manage. If I'm in a remote area or in a campsite that doesn't have a lot of open room, finding room in the trees and wherever I am for that extra wire isn't always easy. And I don't use 40 meters a whole lot because most of my activations are in the middle of the day. So having a link for 15 meters along with 17 meters on this 20 meter wire just makes life a lot easier for me. It packs everything down. One other thing to notice is I did a little different style of linking these together. As you can see, I don't have any loops in the actual radiating wire that are bounded together that you hook a clip onto, like the way the PackTenna comes stock and the way that Mike did his. I just took a leftover chunk of wire from when I trimmed things in, and then I just simply shrink wrapped it to the antenna itself, making sure that's a little bit shorter than the links are, so the links will hang down and all the stress and strain of whatever goes through that, keeping you from inadvertently breaking these links. When we're talking lengthwise and managing a wire, there's no real need for me to make this so I can hang up a separate wire just for the 15 or 17 links. I'll just hang up the whole thing at the 20. It's only a few more feet really between 15 and 20, so it's more manageable. And then with them being permanently attached to each other, like so, I don't have to worry about losing one of the links. So that's kind of the method behind that madness. So here at the end of the 20-meter segment, I have the banana plug so I can extend it to 40. And then I added this loop, again, made out of leftover wire. I just made a loop, shrink wrapped it to itself, and then shrink wrapped that to the radiating element. And from there I connected an S-beaner. So now I can connect this to the 40-meter length or to a rope to hoist up into a tree, to a mast, whatever. I like doing this because there's no crimping involved. You know, you see the other ones where you put the little metal clasp thing. I forget the correct term, but you know what I'm talking about. You don't have to cinch that on. You don't need another crimper. I actually found, and that's one of the reasons why I made this, is the 40-meter length that I have from PackTenna. I actually wore through there and there's bare metal exposed. So I think this might be just a little bit better method for me. Again, your mileage may vary. So what really draws me to using infid half waves in the field is the versatility. There's several different configurations you can set up with these things. If you have the height, it can be a vertical. If you don't have quite as much height, you can make it into a sloper. You can make it into an inverted V for omnidirectional propagation, and again, keeping your working area as compact as possible. You can even use them as invis, as a horizontal low to the ground. Now, one more attachment point I did for this is I folded it over and found the center point of the 20-meter lig, and I added another attachment point to it. You can see this time I used some Dyneema cordage just because I had that laying around. Again, you can use leftover wire from trimming this, or you can use paracord, bank line, whatever you have for these tie-off points, and then for the links that I showed you earlier, you know, whatever you got laying around, use it. And what I did, as you can see, is I just tied this into a knot so it'd be centered, and then I trimmed the legs off about equally, and then I shrink wrapped it right to the antenna. So now I can tie off here and get a nice V for an inverted V. All right, folks, two more little things I've done. And you've probably seen this before in other videos. I use this two-sided Velcro tape a lot. It attaches to itself here. I usually put one or two of these on the antennas so that way I can neatly store all the wire. These PackTennas are ingeniously designed with the built-in wire, and it works out well. Once I get it all in there and nice, I'll just close the loop of this Velcro and it'll hold it in place, and it'll keep everything from sliding off. And you may notice there's no wire attached here. Here's the point where the wire comes stock attached. Instead of clearing that out and attaching the wire again, I utilize a little feature that's been built in these PackTennas that most people don't know about, is that you can actually just connect your antenna like so with a banana plug. So again, that adds a little more versatility for me and ease of repairs in the field. Say I get a little squirrely and I break this wire off right here. Instead of being done for the day, I might have another length of wire that's resonant on something that I can just plug right in. I could carry multiple options. I have all mine tuned to be about the center of the single sideband portion of the bands for generals. What if I want to do a little FT8 or JS8 call? I'm not going to be tuned quite where I want to be, but I could carry an extra wire with me that's, say, tuned to where FT8 is on 30 meters, and then I can, when I get done doing my activation on single sideband, I just unplug this wire, plug in this wire, and away I go on FT8. So a lot of versatility and a lot of fun you can have with this stuff. So there you go. All right, folks, that is my take on the K8MRD mod to the PackTenna EFHW half wave. Again, this is just experimenting. No, that sucked too. All right, folks, that is my take on the K8MRD mod to the PackTenna EFHW half wave. Obviously, this is not just for PackTenna antennas. You can do some of these tricks to any other EFHW half wave that you buy or build from scratch. I really didn't do anything original here. I just did a little experimentation and tried a different way than what somebody else did. And that's the fun of this hobby of ham radio, is experimentation. You see an idea and you do your own twist on it based on your abilities or what you have laying around. And that's mainly what I did with this shrink-wrapped link idea of mine. I didn't have the little crimps to put on there. I didn't want to deal with it. I had some leftover shrink wrap and wire, and I thought, hey, let's give this a try. So hopefully you found this interesting and there's an idea in there that you can use, or better yet, it inspires you to try something else on your own. As always, folks, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. 73.